Hey guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. I'm Shanae Howard, and with me as always is Tommy Shelby
Hello.
and Ryanson Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
That is my name. My name is Ryanson Jackson.
Yeah,
So
Hey,
I like that.
what have you all been playing this week?
Ryan, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
you go.
All right. So I've been hooked on these fucking first-person shooters, these old first-person shooters. So Proteus, I'm pretty much done until they release more content. Beat the campaign on normal, beat it on hard. I can't do it on the hardest one; it's too fucking hard.
Yeah.
Played tons of custom campaigns and custom levels. Great game. Played through a throwback shooter called Project Warlock. That
That's
was
a fun
really
one.
fun.
that
And
on?
I played it on PC, but it's on pretty much everything.
Oh, that
But
sounds familiar.
the interesting thing about that I texted you guys about that really had me thinking was that like it's the first time and I don't know how long that I had like a real game over. Like you have to start back over from the beginning, sort of game over, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And I beat that bitch.
Mm.
Get a
And that
game
was
over
fun.
me in my own home?
Yeah. And then I'm about halfway through Ion Fury.
That's a fun one
So,
too.
yeah.
I only played like the first couple levels of that, but I was like, this feels a lot like Duke Nukem 3D, and I love it. So
What about you, Ryan?
so I finished Persona 5 Royal, and
You didn't just finish it.
okay.
All right.
You
You got the
platinumed that bitch.
fucking platinum.
Yeah, I did. I did get the. You know what? Like, man, that is a fantastic video game. I'll say that. That is a fantastic video game. I loved it so
Hot
much.
take.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna go. Look. I'm gonna say something controversial here. Okay. And a lot of people might not agree with me. Might get a lot of hate for this. But Persona 5 Royal is a fantastic fucking video game. Okay.
Dare you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that game so much. I was
Was
deep
your wife sitting right next there?
in front of my fucking fruit salad. I don't know. I love everything about that game. I cried at the end, and then I cried while watching the credits. And I'm
Are you glad you romanced the person you romanced?
well. I mean, yeah, but like, I was doing some reading about it after about the game after the fact, and apparently the person I romanced was apparently not the canon romance for Royal.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So
I
you know what
wasn't
that means? I got to do it again, baby.
Hey, that Sinead life. Love it.
But like,
I guess I'll have to look that up. But
Yeah.
I wonder who.
I'm having a hard time finding something to play now because like that game.
You were playing Bulletstorm.
I mean, kind of. I stopped playing Bulletstorm to go take a nap, actually. But but I did play some Bulletstorm a little bit. This would be the fourth time I've started that game.
Do you think this time's going to be the charm?
So I think one of the things that Tom and I have gone back and forth on about this game is the whole skill kill, creative kill thing, and it always bugged me because like the most points you will get for a skill kill is the first time you do it, right? The first time you do it, you'll get like 500 points. Then after that, it's only half that every time you do it. Anytime you
Here's
do
the
it.
thing. I like all of those mechanics. Like, I think it's super fun to do that in the game. but when you tie it to a scoring system,
Yeah.
it does not make you feel creative at all.
Like
You know?
I think the better way to do it, if they were gonna put a scoring system in there, is because there's not like you would think that there'd be some kind of like combo system in place,
Right.
but there ain't.
Like Ultra Kill or something.
Yeah,
right?
like you think there would be some kind of combo in there, like because like each thing is like a separate, like I'm gonna say move, but like there's different things that you can like kind of link together to like in one kind of motion, and it would have been cool to like have like a sort of combo, like in like a multiplier or something like that.
They should have had like a super meter.
Yeah, and I opted this time to not play as Duke Nukem because
You don't say.
because like I remember the last time I started this game, I was like, let me try this as Duke Nukem, and I was like, I don't like that. So, and
John St. John, oddly enough, in Ion Maiden or Ion Fury,
what is he doing?
he's the main bad guy.
I thought that voice sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Then a little bit of Monster Hunter, and then playing a lot of Borderlands 3 with my wife. That's been a really good time. So, and that's about it. The last night on Borderlands 3, we did like a little murder mystery. There's like a little murder mystery side quest, and that was kind of neat. Like it's a murder mystery that is like also like the subject of another character's podcast. And so as you're going through the murder mystery, like she's interjecting with a lot of conjecture to make her podcast more compelling. But it was a fun little side activity. But yeah,
Was it funny?
Yeah, it actually was funny.
Should we do that?
It actually was funny. Like this. So one of the criticisms I'd had about Borderlands before, as far as the writing is concerned, is that a lot of the humor revolves around like dated references and like from internet humor, and like the internet moves like a million miles a minute, right? So it's hard to build a video game around a meme reference.
Yeah.
And I think Borderlands 3 has a good amount less than that. There's still a fair amount of it, but it's not as
Ion Maiden, hundreds of references, man.
Yeah, but like give me
stuff
one.
Stuff that ages well.
Yeah.
Right. Like coffee shops called Damn Good Coffee, which is a reference to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Does she ever at any point when she kills a guy say, "Who you gonna call"?
No, but there was a Ghostbusters reference.
Cool.
Yeah. This man has no dick. Yeah.
Right on. I like it. Ghostbusters is great. I love that movie.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing? What else you got?
That's basically it, man. I played a Taiko Drum Master game on my phone while I was pooping today, so there's that.
They got a phone one?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Did it make your poop better? Do you think you pooped harder?
I feel like I pooped more rhythmically, but I don't know. It works surprisingly well. You have your little taiko drum,
Imagine it would.
like right in the center,
Yeah.
and then when you want to hit the side of the drum, you just tap away from the drum. Anywhere that's not the drum, you tap that, and it works. So it's pretty neat. Not a bad game.
So as far as me this week, I have not picked up Persona again. I've been a busy lady again, but I did start, since I still have Apple Arcade. I did go through my Apple TV Apple Arcade games, which I haven't done in a really long time, probably since the launch. And I think I only played really like Sayonara Wild Hearts like on it. So I went through there, and man, I did not expect to get sucked into this new Oregon Trail. I was just like, this is gonna be nostalgic.
Sure.
It's so good. I know
I don't
it's like
believe you.
I know it's been on other consoles, but like, no, it's not the best game I've ever played. But they kept some of the things that I absolutely loved and like remembered, like the way the hunting works, and of course people dying of dysentery and being able to change like the tombstone. But I don't know. I feel like there's like more things to like pay attention to. You get more stats. Uh, I really like that, like similar to like the original Oregon Trail and a lot of games of there, like the tutorial doesn't tell you everything. Like you still do have to figure out a lot of things on there as far as like management and how things go. That or I'm just terrible at reading, which is also a possibility.
Sure.
By the way, but like yeah, I plan on just like playing a little bit for the nostalgia of it, and then I was gonna play Persona, and then
You
like
just
two
got
hours,
sucked in.
Got
yeah,
sucked
2 hours
up.
went by, and I was like, oh.
That's hilarious.
That woman got in there, got sucked up.
Well, they also do like weekly challenges too, so it has like a little pre-made smaller
Oregon Trail
campaigns.
has weeklies.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
Oregon Trail has weeklies. And yeah, and they're pretty fun.
What's an
I just
example of a
expect that-
weekly challenge on Oregon Trail?
So in this past one, you had to get through like a really deserted area, not deserted, but
You had to get through a
but
desert.
yeah, like
An area that is a desert.
Yeah.
A
Desert.
deserted area.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Like Tom
and
said,
so
a
you had to-
deserted area.
So there's like there's like different paths you take and like the different routes with it. And so but you have to keep your water supply up, and you're also trying to like take all this ammunition to another area, and I just kept dying because it kept like they kept using up all their water,
Mm.
and then the ammunition would get hot,
Mm.
and it would blow up, and someone would get like a random gunshot wound,
Mm.
and I don't got any medicine.
I don't think it works that way.
Tom,
Well,
as an experienced frontiersman myself, I can tell you that if you're in the desert and that sun is beating down on your bullets,
Mhm.
you're
they
gonna
don't go off.
you're gonna catch one in the keister, my friend.
I bet Bear Grylls could get through that no problem.
Well,
Probably.
he would just drink his own piss continuously. So yeah, my characters don't have that option.
Bear Grylls on the Oregon Trail.
Sure.
Also, like I don't know if they did this with the earlier rendition of Game Loft's Oregon Trail, but they also had like a little disclaimer talking about the like really terrible portrayals of indigenous tribes in the first one. And now there's like playable characters who are, and they have like a lot more fleshed out stories of like when you come across certain characters. So
Yeah.
that's nice. But also I know earlier
Crazy
today,
to think that Turok was more respectful than Oregon Trail. You know?
Sure.
you know the thing you're giving to children, the things you give to children.
Yeah.
So also today I read before we recorded that the PS Vita and the PS3 store are staying open. They're just gonna try our PSP still in July.
Yeah, Ryan
And-
messaged me about that.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, 'cause easy money, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bubble burst real
Hey.
quick, man.
People voted with their dollar and they said they wanted these things.
They voted with their Reddit. Is
don't.
what they did.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm sure they saw a sales increase,
Yeah.
right? Because there are people that are buying stuff just to have it before the stores close.
sure.
But like
If
it's
the
like Microsoft backwards compatibility. People want it, but they don't use it. You know,
if the sales were there to justify it being kept open,
it
they
wouldn't have been closed
yeah.
in the first place, right?
Yeah. So
So let me borrow your PS Vita?
I already told you could.
yeah, you got to come
Oh.
get it though.
Come
Okay.
and take it.
Yeah, come kiss me for it.
Can I get Birdo? But this week, we guys, y'all wanted
We
to talk
guys.
about
We guys.
we folks, wanted to talk about video game creators or developers and what questions would we ask them. We originally wanted to do this for favorites only, but apparently Tommy wants to yell at some people. So
Well, no, I don't want to yell at people. I just think like it's very limiting, right? Like
It
there
is.
are questions that I would want to ask some of my favorite directors or whatever, But there's questions I would much rather ask people that I don't really give a shit about. You know, there's just shit that's more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's go with let's have you go first on the one that you wanted you thought was more interesting.
Well, I think like the number one thing, like the number one games industry person I would want to talk to, or people, because I would assume it's multiple people,
Yeah.
is whoever was heading up Acclaim's marketing in the early 2000s. Because Acclaim had some crazy marketing, and I just think it's very interesting. So, like, for instance, the Turok reboot, right? Like, they paid people as well as gave out Xboxes to people who either named their child Turok or legally changed their name to Turok.
Didn't
You know,
Bethesda do something similar for Skyrim
I don't know, but it gets
when it first
crazier.
launched?
You know,
I think so. I think you got to name your child something.
the day that Burnout 2 was released, they were like telling people that on this day, if you get a speeding ticket, we'll pay for it for you. Basically, encouraging people to speed.
Yeah, that's the
You
game.
know?
You drive dangerously.
Shit like that. Like they did some crazy shit.
Live
Shadow Man
fast.
2. Shadow Man 2, they attempted to, but were turned down. But they tried to advertise on people's tombstones.
Yeah.
You know? Like to me, that is a much more interesting conversation
Yeah.
than, you know, going down on somebody whose work I love. You know what I mean? Like it's more interesting to me to hear the thought process behind things like that.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, yours is the things that you brought to the table are way crazier than mine. Mine are very dinky.
And it's not like I'm mad at them. Like that happened forever
I
ago.
just
I mean, that's
know.
just
I
that's just
I'm sure
fascinating.
someone's mad, right? Like you probably shouldn't encourage people to speed.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
You know?
Name your child Turok.
Yeah, but like and none of those marketing employees worked,
No.
right? Like none of those games sold incredibly well, except for maybe Burnout.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just a very interesting thing.
I wonder if the speeding tickets they paid off.
I have no idea.
I mean,
I know public officials came out and like were pissed about it.
sure.
You know that.
Like, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
Like, you get people get killed behind something like that, and like, what is the plan, right? Like, if like the speeding tickets are so much that they like eclipse the sales that they make for the game. It's like,
Yeah.
Where
or if you killed someone.
yeah,
You know.
and then there's a thing that is like, well, and like they were just like, look, look, Your Honor, I understand what I did was wrong, but I gotta tell you, I was trying to get a video game.
Yeah.
And
the whole Shadow Man
They
thing,
could
like
have dropped dead at any moment.
Yeah.
So like, what was this car accident? It could have been anything.
well, it's funny with all of the things they have PR statements for like each of those incidences where they're like, well, this is where our minds were with the whole thing and blah blah blah. Like with the Shadow Man thing, they're like, well, you know, for people struggling to pay for their loved ones' funerals, like this could really help them out, and you know, like stuff like that.
so like
It's so fucking funny.
like I just imagining if my relative passed away and I was like, man, I can't afford this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then here comes the claim. They're like, hey, we can help you out.
Yeah.
We just need to use your loved one's tombstone
Yeah.
as
We just want to put Shadow Man on there.
we just want to have, you know, the likeness of a one Michael Leroy.
Well, here's the thing, right? Let's say everybody was cool with that.
Sure.
Right?
No
So
one found
you're
it
going
incredibly
to the
successful.
cemetery. You're going to the cemetery to visit your loved one.
20 years
and you
later.
look over and you see no, because it was a temporary thing. It was like
Sure.
a mini billboard.
Oh, I
thing.
see.
You look over and you see a Shadow Man advertisement on a grave.
Yeah.
While you're there visiting your dead loved one,
Yeah.
you're probably not thinking, "Oh, I'll pick up Shadow Man 2." On the way." You know?
I love this game.
I mean, you're gonna
You're
be in the right mindset for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like Shadow Man is all about dead stuff.
But
Great.
like, so Matt McMuscles did a video on this topic. I don't know, maybe last year. And in his video, he basically said that So for those that don't know, Acclaim had IP rights for a lot of early Midway games. Not early, but like Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam and games around that time, right?
Right.
And with the controversy behind Mortal Kombat, he theorizes that Acclaim basically thought, well, if we can make something controversial, it will sell.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But
And I think that
don't know.
I think that a lot of like late 90s and early 2000s like marketing ideas were around like being edgy and like
Yeah.
and
Put
like
an X in the name.
yeah.
Sure.
BMX sports.
But yeah, I just think that would be a really interesting conversation to be had.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'd like a Kotaku story on that, you know, or like
Yeah, and I also think that like because I also really think that for a lot of people, you know, that the whole hindsight is 2020 thing, and I think the conversation would probably end at like, you know, honestly, I don't know what we were doing. I think we were just
Yeah.
trying to sell this video game.
Sure. But
And
I mean,
here's-
people
and,
that
like,
people that made those decisions, though, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they would know.
Yeah.
It's like the whole Konami Kojima thing. Like, I would love to be there for those conversations, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
And you know, like
in our game, you can be in those conversations.
uh
What's going on between you two? What exactly went down?
let's hash this out.
Please spill the tea to me.
Yeah.
Air your grievances. Festivus for the rest of us.
And you know,
to me, like, I would love to talk to Fumito Ueda or Team Silent or Yoko Taro. I would love that, but you know, knowing this weird shit is far more interesting, I think.
yeah.
So on mine, I just like, for the things that I wrote down or kind of had like pre-prepared, I just was sitting around thinking about like just random stuff. So like I have stuff for like Bungie about Halo Combat Evolved,
Yeah.
and just because like been playing that game and also like playing with somebody who's a big Halo super fan, so they've been telling me some of the history and stuff.
Are you playing on Steam?
I mean, I'm playing through the Xbox store
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So essentially through Steam, yes, but the client, yeah. It's just so knowing what you do now, do you wish you were able to put sprinting in the first game? Because that kills me while playing through it. Now it's just a small complaint. Though, I do wonder, and they're the only ones who would know, but I don't think it's interesting what you brought up, but do you think the recall of Myth 2 did not happen? Would you have gone to Microsoft for acquisition? And if so, and if not, how do you think that would have changed what Halo is today?
I'm sorry, the recall of what?
Myth 2?
Myth 2. I'm not familiar.
I don't know what that is.
So it's a game that they had out before, and they were using a lot of those sales to fund Halo originally. And this is when
Not Marathon. Okay. Not Marathon?
Okay.
No, Myth. Well, I mean, Myth 2 is a Bungie game from '98.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard
This
of
is
it.
before so apparently there was a glitch in it. And they had to recall like over $200,000.
Wow.
I think it might have been more than that. And it's 98 of like worth of games. And so with that, and they were already like struggling a bit on money because originally Halo was going to be an RTS, but then they were going to make a third person, and then when they made when they had the acquisition with Microsoft and to be on the console, which was newer, they then decided to make it a first-person shooter to fit better with the gamepad.
Yeah.
So thinking of a third-person Halo is pretty interesting.
What's I did a quick lookup of Myth 2 because I'd never heard of it before now, and now I could see like going from that why it would be a real-time strategy game, because that's what Myth 2 was. But like interestingly enough, like I think like I never played Halo Wars, but apparently that's a really good strategy, and I don't even think I'm pretty sure I know that Bungie didn't develop that, but
They did not.
But
I do also wonder how they feel about that. Now that they chose to make it a third-person shooter because they realized what they wanted to do with the game didn't fit in an RTS.
Yeah.
So it was their own choice.
but
The other
like
ones I have.
I don't know. I was just
Sorry.
well, like, because like it's one of those things, right? Where like a lot of first person shooters, I think are well, a lot of first person shooters that I've played, like the person you play as isn't really much of a character, outside of like like a line or two every few hours. And I wonder if like seeing Master Chief in third person would have like I don't want to say personified because that's the wrong word, but like kind of
Humanized him more,
a little
made
bit,
him more
or
relatable.
like
I mean, if you could see that ass more than whenever you were just
sure,
getting blown up, like maybe you would like it more. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I don't know because like I think like as the games went on, that like he talked more and like he became more of a character as time went on. But then I think about what you said about sprinting, and the interesting thing about that for me was I think the first time I was able to sprint in a Halo game was either 3 or Reach. I can't remember which one, but it wasn't even like a sprint really. Like it was an ability that you can equip on your
Yeah, it was
character.
like a shield. It was like a shield. Like you
Yeah.
either got armor or you could do like a small sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
And that was, and I'm pretty sure that was 3.
That's pretty cool.
you couldn't always sprint, but like if you had the right dealie, then you could sprint sometimes. So,
Oh man,
Yeah,
Ryan,
that's
I
also
just got the double jump in Ion Maiden. Super cool.
yeah.
I didn't expect it to be like an item pickup, but
Yeah, that game is throwback in the best ways, I think. But
But also to go to pursue Persona, I have for P Studio, specifically for Katsura Hashino, because he's been with the Persona series for a really long time. He's the one who wrote and developed Persona 5. He was also working on Catherine, and it was his last Persona game because he's now with a different studio. But I want to know, who would he romance in his own game?
that's kind of creepy.
yeah, I feel like that would be a very uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, which child do you like the most?
Yeah, which one is
Oh, not all
sexiest
of
to
our
you?
children.
I'm just playing.
He also wrote the children.
Yeah.
And then
Which child?
Satoshi Tajiri. I'm so sorry for all these butchering of these names. He's the guy who wrote and developed Pokemon for Game Freak, and I want to know, if it wasn't going to be Game Freak that would make Pokemon games, who would he want to make, since it's his baby?
Oh, Rockstar Games.
Hey, what if he chose that? I mean,
Rockstar presents Pokemon. This Pikachu fucks.
so I'll imagine those poor Jigglypuffs.
Yeah, that's Jiggly, all right.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's an interesting conversation to have, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting in that, like, I can't say as far as like Japan goes, but certainly in the States, it's one of the few games where the spin-off like outgrew the IP that it came from. Persona is now probably more popular than SMT is, at least in the States.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but even then, what's the last SMT mainline game?
I think wasn't it Persona 3?
No.
No, I mean,
Mainland?
talking about-
No.
No, not Shinigami Tensei game, like a
Oh,
Yeah.
there was a there,
I mean, there's all sorts of them that have been coming out in ports and stuff, like Digital Devil Saga and Summoner, and like,
yeah.
you know, there was a lot of them coming out relatively recently. Whether they were new or not, I couldn't really tell you. I don't know enough about that series. But I mean, there's a new one supposedly in the works for the Switch. You know.
yeah. I remember there was one for the DS.
Well, like Nocturne was DS, and
I thought.
Yeah.
Digital Devil was DS. At least at some point. I don't know
Yeah.
if they originally were.
No, I have
but-
No, they were not.
Yeah.
I have the PS2 version of Nocturne.
Yeah.
But that game is spooky. It's a
Ooh.
little too spooky for me.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, the only things I could really think of that I always want to ask is, well, just questions about like their original intention with the game, and then also like what they would do differently. Just
Yeah.
because they're all the only people that can speak upon it,
Yeah.
like, and obviously in their perspective. I mean, like, I know it exists because it exists, but yeah, I don't really know like a lot of the weird stuff. Like that on the tombstones.
There's actually
Look it up.
there's actually
I mean, I know I'm not doubting you, but it makes
that
makes
never
me so
actually
sad.
happened. They tried to get that going, but that never happened.
yeah.
Only one person did it.
There's actually an episode of Nathan For You where he tries to get advertisement on a tombstone at I think it was a pet cemetery, and he raised a bug, and then like because he was like, well, you need a pet to have a tombstone here, so he raised a bug, and then like when the bug died, he was like, okay, I'm gonna bury my pet bug here. And he's like advertising a vet clinic, I think, on the tombstone. Pretty good.
That is pretty good.
I can't remember. So I can't remember which Saints Row this was for. I'm pretty sure it was for Saints Row the Third. But they had that promotion, or not a promotion, but like there's that super collector's edition that came with a car. I can't remember what kind of car it was, but it was one of those very expensive supercars. So like this,
It was 3 or 4. I'm
I
leaning.
mean, Deep
closer
Silver
to-
did some weird shit.
yeah,
You know?
and like it came with like some like $200,000 car or some shit.
We have an old episode where we talked about some of that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But
The
like,
crazy
and like, you know,
prizes.
free home and like, you know, stuff like that. But like, I don't think anything's quite as weird as like just this marketing thing with Acclaim, you know.
I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, I would be I'm curious as to like, okay, so where did the idea come from to acquire a car to to sell with this game, and what were you going to do with the car if no one bought that version of the game?
I mean, somebody was going to buy it.
Yeah,
It's
someone's
like,
gonna buy it.
Some
like whether it's an employee or
Rich
a relative
asshole.
of
They
an
still
employee.
make Call of Duty JKs, you know, like, yeah.
so
Uh,
but I don't know, like, but at the same time, like, I mean, it worked. You know, people, you know, it worked in the way that, like, hey, now, you know, I'm talking about this game. Did you hear about that game where there
Yeah.
you get one of them, you can buy a car with it. You want to buy a car, you know? So like taking out a loan to buy a video game and a car, like, that's crazy to me. But
You're buying the game. The video game, the car is a bonus.
okay,
that comes
so
with
I'm
the
gonna
game.
go to the bank. And I was like, I need a
I'm
loan.
going to GameStop. Pre-order.
I need a loan for $200,000. Well, what's the loan for? There's a video
Row.
game. There's a video game coming out next week, and I gotta go pick it up. I don't know, but yeah, I kind of I see where you're coming from, Tom. Like because I was when I pitched this, I was very much in I guess a mood of appreciation.
Sure.
Because I was having a few conversations with different friends about video games and how much they meant to me, and the whole conversation was, I really just want to talk to this person in person and tell them like what it meant to me, right?
Sure, and I think that's an interesting conversation to be had as well. you
Yeah.
know?
And then
you know what
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, I thought you were done.
I'm done.
Fine.
I'm done.
So I mean, so you said marketing team. So now like the doors are open. I want to know who the stylist is for E3, because each company
Here it
has
comes.
to have a stylist or something about them. Why don't you put them in outfits that fit? Why do they look so grubby?
This drum beating this drum for like 4 years. Sinead, sometimes clothes fit differently on different bodies, right?
Remember that time she was criticizing how we dressed?
Yeah, yeah, and
Feedbacking.
yeah. Look, I'm not the most stylish guy, right? And these days, I don't really have much of a reason to be. I don't really leave my house anymore. So, I mean, what do you want me to do, right? And also, if you're making as much money, as the people on stage at E3, I mean, you kind of just dress however you want, man. You want to wear a blazer with a t-shirt underneath it with jeans and dress shoes at the bottom? Go for it, bro. Because people are just all people want to hear about is it's coming out right now.
Yeah, it glows in the fucking dark.
Oh, that fucking guy. Yeah, that's a guy that I'd like to talk to. I mean, that's a guy I have some questions for. It was like, hey man, like you made Morrowind almost 20 years ago, and it's a great game. You did a lot of really revolutionary things with that game. But I gotta know, what's next? What's your next big idea? Because I haven't heard a whole lot of good big ideas. I mean, you had the map. I appreciate the map that you came out with a couple years ago. But I need to know what's going on with you.
Yeah, no, as far as like how people are dressing at E3 or press conferences in general, like I don't know. I would imagine, Sinead, that a lot of those studios don't have people that are helping them with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
You know?
I can't like. Yes,
I'm sure like
definitely
Peter Moore shows up, sure, somebody probably helped him out, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
But
thinking,
like
it's the presenters. All right,
Yeah.
the regular ass people.
No, that's what I
fine.
mean. I think even a lot of the presenters do not.
Yeah.
But
Like even Phil Spencer, you don't think anybody like?
no, I'm sure Phil
checks
Spencer
him?
does.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. Yeah, no excuse then.
Yeah.
Don't look at a fucking toddler.
I mean, look, that guy's making bank dressing the way he does, so he's doing something right, I guess.
Yeah.
But imagine how much more money he could have if he dressed for success.
I mean, that guy's pretty successful. People seem to like that guy a whole lot. I mean, I maybe feel differently, but I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the way I feel about Phil Spencer has little to do with how he dresses.
Sure.
Well, you don't have a discerning eye like some others.
Yeah, I guess not.
I was also thinking like a conversation, and they do so happen to be like three creators who I like their works quite a bit.
Yeah.
With Goichi Suda, Shinji Mikami, and Hideki Kamiya.
Yeah.
I think would be very interesting because they were all part of the Capcom team that was leading the Capcom 5.
Yeah.
You know, and they all split away from Capcom after that.
Yeah.
Some of them to great success, right? Like the Capcom 5 basically made Suda 5-1. You know, he wasn't extremely well known before Killer 7.
Yeah.
Right? But then it didn't really help Mikami very much, except, I mean, with Resident Evil 4, sure, but like with PNO3, no,
Yeah.
not at all. And with his relationship with PlayStation, no, not at all.
Yeah.
And then like with Kamiya, like the closure of Clover Studios, but then that leads him to Platinum Games, you know?
Yeah.
I think like specifically talking to the three of them and how Capcom 5 affected each of them, I think is a very interesting story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but like I look at a lot of Goichi Suda's work, and a lot of the time I want to be in the room while you're thinking up this shit that you're doing.
There's probably a lot of drugs.
It's like it's gotta be, right? Because like all his stuff is all wacky and like is like and sometimes absurd, but like it's always like
have to be straight edge, never touch a drug.
He probably is.
Never.
He always looks like a completely normal, sober, clean guy. You know?
yeah, but there's
He
something.
comes up with some crazy shit.
There's something. Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. Hold on.
So Ryan's mic seems to be
Went out.
dead. Oh, there he is.
I
Nope.
don't
nope.
know.
Nope.
I'm back.
There
Oh,
he
why
is.
did you figure that out?
I'm
Oh,
back.
hey!
But yeah, I think that would be a cool conversation to have, like specifically with the three of them together in a room.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who the other two fools were, right? Because they had the whole thing where they had the five guys on stage,
Yeah.
trying to look like they're fucking rock stars and shit.
They are
At a time when very few people knew the names of the people developing games.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's still the case for a lot of people now, but
Sure.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting.
I also would love to talk to somebody from uh somebody from Enix and somebody from Squaresoft that was there when the merger happened. And I know it's fucking nerdy, but like I really would be interested in how how things got distributed, like how different departments interacted, and like just kind of the expansion to move on to everything and how some of those conversations happened.
Yeah.
I think the boring workplace shifts would actually be super interesting. I would love to see, like, obviously you can see the influences from each company and some of their teams if you look at their previous games. But it would be very interesting to see like who actually helped like in certain areas. And I don't know, I just think there'd be definitely a lot of situations I'd be probably surprised.
Well, it's an interesting thing, right? Because like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. I think NX was actually doing better than Square at the time.
Yeah.
And Square was the one that was acquired.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting because like, it's the Square games that make the money now. Like it's the IP that started with Square that make the money now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Dragon Quest still does well, you know, but like, yeah.
Yeah, but like how like
not in the US as much.
I don't feel like I often hear about people talking about Star Ocean, you know.
Right. Old Corey.
Oh yeah, well,
about it, right?
But like I think that like you put people in a room and then you're like, you know, and we're talking like brand recognition. Like I think more people are going to recognize Final Fantasy than Star Ocean.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that's also why. I do also think that's why the name is set up the way that it is. Because I think I think that Square is probably the more recognizable name, just like regardless of like how the financials actually worked out, and also Square Enix sounds better than Enix Square. So
yeah,
actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe Enix Square is a cooler name. I don't know. Never mind. Strike that second point from the record. But it
should have been Enix Soft.
Yeah,
Enix Squared.
Yeah, with the little 2 there.
Yeah,
I could work.
Well, actually, that might also actually work because it was Squaresoft, so it was two S's.
Yeah, 2 scoops.
Yeah, 2 scoops of eyeballs. That's what happens when you play too many video games. Is you get 2 scoops of eyeballs. That's when your eyes are hurting real bad.
2 booty scoops.
Yeah.
Other than that, like just like people that I consider to be extremely creative, right? Like
yeah.
Like all those creators I was naming that have made the games that I talk about too much. Because to me, that's just like talking to a movie director or an author. Like, some of the stuff that those people have come up with is pretty fucking insane, you know?
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to hear more behind the scenes and stuff like that. Like sometimes it definitely has like ruined some of the magic of something, but there's a lot of other teams. But most of the time, though, when I find out more of like what into it, I'm just like, wow, this is even more impressive than I thought.
Yeah.
That's why I've got, I don't know now, maybe like a dozen or so of the boss fight books, and it's because of that. It's because I want to know what happened with all that shit, you know?
Yeah.
And
it's a lot easier to like, I think, like digest it in like one place and like scouring the internet for like different pieces of information.
Yeah.
Like one of the, like I often also think about like the decisions around back when Sega was a manufacturer that kind of colored like what happened to their hardware like post the from this like specifically with the Saturn and the Dreamcast, and what was the rationale behind like how the Sega Saturn launched, and like what like
They had some balls, man.
that's like just like, hey,
They let your Dreamcast die.
hey, check this out. We have a new system called the Sega Saturn. You know what? It's out right now. Go get it.
That's fucking awesome. That's so cool. Like, I know it's dumb, but fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, because like,
You know?
Gotta love a shadow drop.
because like, here's the thing: is
A
that like,
console shadow drop though.
because
you
like
know?
when you hear about
But, like-
whenever people say and it's out right now, they're talking about like some digital game, like a game.
or a DLC or
Yeah,
something.
like that you could.
Yeah.
It's like something that like
But
they're like
no.
a low cost thing that you can just go get, right? But like we're talking
Yeah.
about like a whole ass console. There's that,
Yeah.
that like there's like we're gonna
Okay,
hopefully.
for instance, that's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Today, right?
Yeah,
It was
so-
Sony's
so wasn't it-
2016 or 17 conference where they were like, look at this little game called Entwined.
Yeah.
And it's out right now, right? This tiny piece of shit game that
That's big in the 90s.
while the
Nobody knew
games
about
industry was much more healthy and vibrant
Yeah.
from the company who is arguably leading the industry at the time versus a dying company with a game console.
Well, like, and
I just-
the funny thing about that is like if a shadow drop happened now.
Yeah.
Then like you get the word out because the internet, right? The internet being what it is
Exactly.
now. Like yes, we had the internet. Yes, we had the internet in 1995. I know that, but like at the same time, like people weren't like getting all the information off the internet the way they are now.
Yeah.
And so like imagine how long it took for word to get out about that new Sega console that just came out.
That's so fucking cool, though.
This is when you couldn't disable certain pop-ups. You would just have to turn it all off or leave the internet and go back. To it. Like, you just,
I don't
you
know,
have to
man.
eject your AOL disk and then go back in with it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not using the internet today, so I'm not gonna use the internet today. I don't want to see any pop-ups.
There's a lot
No,
of
I'm
stuff
just
to
saying,
talk
like-
to Sega about, though, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Why? Why do?
And you know, like, and I think that like it's really like I feel that that's a really cool thing to have happened. It didn't really pay off for them, but like I still
No.
think
No.
I still think it's like a cool thing to have happened because like imagine like you're sitting there wondering like, man, I've been playing this 32X for a while. I wonder when
Didn't really like it even the day I got it.
right? Like you gotta when you got the 32X, you gotta put the connectors in there, and then you gotta make sure that everything's hooked up properly. And but then Sega's like, look, I know that we had that 32-bit system, right? Well, now we got another 32-bit system that's gonna blow that one out of the water. Okay. It's called the
And it
Sega.
did.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Like the Sega Saturn is
But
worlds
why
better than the
tell
32X.
No one about it.
Well, they told a whole room full of people about it, and then
They
those
had a
people,
lot of print ads for it,
yeah.
you know.
But
But
like, I don't know. It was really crazy because I think that also, you know, when you are a company who is just like, look, we're not moving units like we did before. Like maybe we got to do something risky. Maybe we got to pull off some kind of gambit to get this going. And so,
They should have just contacted me. Granted, I was a baby, so I probably wouldn't have had this idea.
yeah, you were too busy struggling with a Yoo-hoo bottle on your mouth to really be what you used to.
Facts. At this age, yes. I still have a giant gap. Yeah. You know, those do not disturb signs at hotels? Slap ads on there. Only there.
Sure.
Well, like that's the thing too, right? It's like you put a do not disturb sign, like the do not disturb sign is instead an ad. It's like, huh, Sega Saturn's coming out. Right on. Well, I'm just gonna walk into this room.
As far as like, so we were talking about this topic, and I had messaged you guys that, you know, did it have to be our favorite creators?
Yeah.
And like Shanae's immediate response was like, oh, you're gonna yell at somebody or whatever, right? So I do have one that if I could sort of berate somebody and just ask them why,
Yeah.
Why do you exist?
it would be Randy Pitchford. I'd like to have a
Oh, man.
few words with him.
Well, like, see, that's so crazy.
Question
He's
form.
so fucking. That's so fucking weird to me, right? Because like, I was just talking to someone the other day. I'm just like, this guy is an embarrassment to the company, and like, the board has not gotten rid of him yet for some reason.
It gets worse and worse.
He just keeps getting worse.
Some sort of blackmail.
Yeah.
But like I also like, and I think about like how many times was there like some kind of meeting or a retreat or some kind of function where people who worked beneath him had to sit through some kind of magic trick and like humor him with that shit.
Here's what I think, right? Like, I really think he's in some sort of monkey's paw situation where he's like, I want to be a great game developer.
Yeah, but
You gotta be this.
but like you also have to be incredibly inept.
Yeah. You have to ruin the lives of many other people.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Incredibly uncomfortable to be around. Nobody should be happy that you're in the room.
Am I remembering correctly? Was it him who was embezzled by his assistant? Was it him?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, I don't.
Randy.
and like the last time I saw Randy, like a picture of Randy Pitchford, he was holding up a copy of a game that came out like sometime in the last year. I don't remember what game it was. But the only thing that I took, like the reason I don't remember what game it was is because the only thing I took away from that picture is that in that picture he looked the way Papa John did when he was like I ate 30 pizzas in 30 days or some shit like that.
Oh man. Yeah.
And it's just and I think that like anything that Gearbox has done has like in like more recently has been like in spite of him, like despite him instead of because of him.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if I were like a shareholder of that company, I'm like, you gotta get rid of this guy because
it's such a weird company in general, right? Like there's so many great moves and also so many terrible moves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
For every opposing force, there's a blue shift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know.
And so like, and I'm also like wondering like what because we've talked about Gearbox before and like they're not like I don't feel like they're very consistent as far as like the quality of their products.
But that's the thing though, right? Like they're not consistently bad either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You
know? That's what, like there's like it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Like like there are things that Gearbox has done things that I like a lot, and Gearbox has also done things that I really don't like. That I really don't like. Yeah. Right? So it's just, and like it's to the point where like it evens out to where like I almost said that they're a company that's kind of just like there, but at the same time I know that if Gearbox was like, hey, we're doing a new thing, then people would be talking about it. But you know, I think like there's like a lot of like I think
after Battleborn, after Duke Nukem Forever, after Aliens, like
I'm not saying that they would talk about it with like heated anticipation. Like I don't think
they would talk.
Yeah, they would talk about it. Like it would be a conversation for sure. But like I think there would be like a lot of like very cautious speculation about like what the nature of that product was, because like there's been, you know, over the last decade there have been quite a few missteps. But I think that probably one of the better things they could do is, you know, get rid of the inept magician that works there. But I don't know.
I don't know. Like it's kind of the acclaim thing, though, right? Like it's almost better to have a figurehead who is well known, even if he's a jackass. Yeah, you know. See Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't like my opinion of Peter Molyneux is like I think that like
but any of them though, right? See Molyneux, see Jaffe, see Blazinski, any of them really. Yeah. You know?
I think like I also think Blazinski is like very much like I always felt like his overall like vibe is like of a very like set period in time. And it's and so like it's kind of hard to like.
He was the fucking Todd McFarlane of video games.
Yeah, like it's like because like Cliff Blazinski is a very mid 2000s dude, and like and I think that honestly, you know, this shit kind of passed him by, and like, you know, but I don't know. I think you're right, Tom. I think that like with the right figurehead, you know, like you could at least like keep your company as part of the conversation for
Right.
better or for worse, I guess.
Right.
But
Because here's the thing, like, I don't know, but I can't think of the last game that Peter Molyneux made. But if Peter Molyneux puts out a new game, a trailer for a new game, people are going to be talking about it.
yeah. Well, his
It was a game of love.
because he went off and started this studio called 22 Cans that the last 2 games I've seen were mobile games.
Yeah. He hates these cans.
That's a great scene.
All of them.
He hates these cans. that movie's so fucking funny.
But yeah. If there was one person that I could kind of not be the nicest to, it'd probably be Randy.
But I'm also wondering, like, would I rather be Randy Pitchford or Cliff Bleszinski?
Cliff Bleszinski at least did a tremendous amount to move the industry forward.
Yeah,
you know.
Sure.
Who has more money though?
I would imagine Cliff Bleszinski, but I don't know for sure.
I mean,
Right,
I
that's where I
imagine,
wanna be.
but only probably because Cliff Bleszinski probably avoided being embezzled by his assistant. But...
Well, and also there's a little thing called Unreal, you know.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, that whole engine thing.
I don't know if he's still getting money off of that shit or not. But
you probably have to talk to Tim Sweeney about that.
But yeah, do y'all have any closing thoughts?
No. I want to talk to Kojima. Tell him to make me something scary.
Something spooky.
Make me a sandwich.
Okay, Tom. If he was gonna make a scary game, what is something that he can put in that game to make it scary to you? What is an example of one thing that would be scary to you in a video game?
I don't know, but I mean, I thought PT was scary.
Okay,
you know?
So
and like he was gonna work with fucking Junji Ito.
Yeah,
like that
man, I would
creepy.
not have been able to play that fucking game if that game. Because you like, I know that you're quite the fan of Junji Ito, but like I cannot, like his stuff is just like nightmare imagery to me, and I just can't, like, for the most part I cannot deal with it. And like if we're talking about like a 10-15 hour video game of that shit, I don't know. I can't do it.
But yeah, I'd like to tell him to make me something scary.
Yeah.
Or some more Metal Gear type of game, you know.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing stopping him from making a Metal Gear type of game except for maybe his lack of desire to make a Metal Gear type of game.
Yeah, he hasn't wanted to for fucking decades now.
Like since 4 at least.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Any closing thoughts?
No, not really. Smells like dog food in here.
Well, you have 2 dogs and they eat food, so it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's fucking gross.
But if you are somebody who worked in a marketing for video games in the 90s or early 2000s, let us know why they thought some of these things. If you have any insight, you can also hit us up on our Discord. Let us know about which creators, developers you would have questions for and want answered. We also have an Instagrams. We're on the YouTubes. We're on most podcast apps like Podomatic, Google Play.
I want to talk to
iTunes.
Miyamoto too.
What are we talking about?
Miyamoto, hit up your boy Tom.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.